Hello viewer, welcome back. A week or two ago I did an iridescent bowl and it seemed to go down quite well. Never done one before. I like the effects. Gonna have a go at another one, but I want to keep this one square, so it may still end up as a round bowl. Of course I'm not very good at these winged objects, but we'll give it a go. And I've got a 9-inch square piece of sycamore, 9-inch by 2-inch, and I've already got it on a glue chuck so I can get a mortise into one side. So I'll swing the camera down and we'll get going. I'm just digging around at the moment trying to just get a basic shape in my head. That's about the size of the bowl that I want, no bigger than that. Might even go a bit smaller. And then I can start putting a bit of proper shape on it, but I'm just sort of digging out a rough shape at the moment. And yeah, I think that's given me an idea now. Yeah, right, I'm going to finish this off now and speed it up a bit to get rid of this tear out. Well, I'm just starting chipping away at these corners now, trying to get a bit of shape on them. Very delicate work. Oh, that's getting there now. It's really difficult because you're sort of going into fresh air and you've got to remember to keep your knuckles out of the way, well out of the way. But yeah, I can see what's happening now, so I'll carry on with that now for a bit. Righty-ho. I think I'm getting somewhere. Don't quite know where yet. A lot of wood to remove, so I'm just going to carry on with that now. And don't forget, if you want to attempt something like this, watch these corners because they can really rip your fingers, your knuckles. Now a lot of people, including me, when I'm doing a round bowl, I've got my hand right on there like that. In this case it wouldn't work, it'd cut right into my hand. So the best thing to do is keep your hand out the way and push the tool through. You're still keeping control, but push the tool through, keeping your hand. You can get to within sort of half an inch of it, quarter of an inch, as long as you're sure it's not going to hit your hand. Feed the tool through, control it with this hand and push with your other hand. Like that. And if you get to the stage where it is just too far away for you to control, come round but keep your hand this side of the tool rest and work like that. And that's just as effective, and you know you've got a nice piece of steel between your hand and the nasty corners. Right, got it turned round and set in the chuck now. So got to dig the bowl out and shape these wings a bit. Hopefully all will go well. Not a bad wood to turn, this sycamore. Just get a rough measurement on the bowl itself. Yeah, that's about it. I'll put a bit of a groove in there so I've got something to work on. Catching a bit there, must have moved the tool rest slightly, that's it. Now, I've said before, use whatever tools you think are easiest. I tend to go between the bowl gouge, scraper, carbide cutter, just to practice on each one really, see which one gives me the best finish. That's about the depth I want it now, so I'll start concentrating on getting a bit of shape on these wings, I think, hopefully. That's made a good start anyway. And keep this tool rest as close as I possibly can. coming on. Right, as I was turning away, I've noticed this little inclusion, this little fault in the wood here. So I've gone back behind now and I'm just taking a little bit more off till that's disappeared. Other than that, it's still all in one piece. Oh, nearly gone, but another 1/16 of an inch should do it. Yeah, that's gone now. I'm just going to take it a little bit further though, to try and get the thickness a bit more even around here. Might take a bit off both sides. Nearly there. I've got some massive tear out here, so I've got to try and address that with some very fast speed but gentle strokes. See if I can get rid of that. Great, that's nearly gone. There's a tiny bit there and a bit on there. Excellent. Right, I've masked up the edges because I don't want any overspray to go at the back of the bowl. I'm going to spray inside the bowl as well because that hasn't had the finishing cuts off yet. Just a couple of light coats of satin black. Just let that dry for a few minutes and I'll turn it round and do those other two edges that I can't get at the moment. And then I'll give it another coat. Then I'll scrape that off and put some finishing cuts in the actual bowl. Right, now I'm going to give the bowl some nice finishing cuts, get it as smooth as I can and sand it down and put a little accent line around the rim. Actually, it's quite a good paint in it because you can see the high and low spots a lot easier than if there wasn't any paint on there. So I know I've got a little bit of work to do, as you can see, to get it nice and even. That's looking better. That should sand off nicely. I'll just get my little pointed carbon cutter and just put a little line about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the bowl. Just sets it off a bit, I think. Yep, that's coming on quite nicely. A good sanding in there now, and sanding sealant and the polish, and then I can take it off and start putting the paint on. Right, I decided to give it another one or two accent lines, one coming right close to the edge here, and then maybe put another one on each corner. That should be a laugh. Let's get the thing set up. That's just got it, just right. I might just put another one if I can. Oh yeah, I like that. Well, you know me, I've changed things again. I've decided two things. One, I made these little grooves in the corners, if you remember, on the lathe to match that. Didn't like it after all, thought I did at the time. So anyway, I've re-skimmed it and got rid of the grooves, repainted it black. Now realise a lot of you won't have any access to an airbrush, so you don't have to use an airbrush. I'm using a cheap brush I got from, I don't know, Poundland or something like that. You know, you buy a pack of about 1 million of them, and I'm just putting little dabs of paint on with the brush, spread it out. I'm just doing very random. I'm no artist, but these will all merge into each other as you go along. Do whatever style you fancy. At the moment I'm just using the iridescent red and the iridescent violet. I may put some blue in as well, but it's just as easy with a brush. Just keep going over it, it'll start going off quite quickly. Well, it does in the warm weather. I don't know about this weather, but just do what you like really. I'm just going to carry on building this up and see what it looks like when it's all covered. And do whatever you like. You can blob it on, you can stretch it out, you can feather it in a bit if you want, you know. Nice rough feathery edges. Easy as that. So I'll see you later on when I've got this all built up more. Right then, that's the finished thing. My God, it's mental, isn't it? I'll give it a couple of coats of lacquer, and I mean, it looks alright. The finish is great, but it's totally mental. Anyway, I've got a name for it, and I'm going to call it WTF. I think you all know what that stands for. It was a good laugh doing that actually. I'm not in much of a hurry to do another one, but it's another experiment, and I enjoyed doing it. Right, thanks very much for subscribing and watching this video, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Bye.